loans on the default. Somebody got to come. The bill always comes due. They bill is due. They time is up. Our time is now. But our people still supporting their old system instead of going back to our system. This is all energy exchange. They're talking about waking up from the three-dimensional reality of a fixed position mind state, being stubborn to the obvious changes that's in front of you. That slows down progress. Bunch of bulls got their feet stuck in the ground. You can't pull them asses nowhere. Right? Somebody needs some carrots on some sticks. Get them heifers moving.
Rod, man, we about to get out of here, man. I want to thank you once again, man, for the awesome, amazing show. I want to get to a question from the people in the chat before we get out of here. I started a little late tonight, y'all, but I want to give me some questions in the chat. I'm gonna take one question in the chat before we get out of here. That thing, what you said while somebody comes up with a question, Rod, that thing you said about the halls of a mentee, that was deep, man. That trance-like state before sleep, because we're taught, we always talk about dreams, but a lot of people don't pay attention to that space right before you go to sleep. Do you think that's more important than the actual dream itself when you're in that trance state before sleep?
Your dreams serve different purposes. Some of them is to rationalize the events of the day according to your book of life. You're doing what's called a comparative analysis. The nightmare is the upset in the paradigm that shows that something in the paradigm is inaccurate. Right? So it's going to come out to stand out in your mind as a nightmare. When you find out what the boogeyman is in real life, you run the boogeyman out the dream.
Right. Okay, let's see. Give me 1 second, Ron. Let me see what they're talking about. The hell some of y'all be talking about? Y'all be saying some crazy shit. Let me see. I don't see anything I want to ask.
So look, I had the first person that came to me in the hall was Fard Muhammad.
Oh, in that state. Oh, look, talk to me about your experience. Yeah. I would love to hear that. So what's going on?
I was in Cook County Jail and I was talking to this brother. Everett X was a radio head for Elijah. I was able to experience that firsthand about Elijah being a radio director. They call radio producer, the one who projects the radio signal.
Right.
So it was like being taught directly by Elijah through somebody else.
Ooh. Now we talking. Come on, Rod. Come on.
So I had an issue with the way Fard Muhammad looked. Because if he's going to tell me God a black man, he better look like Marcus Garvey. He better do the things that Marcus Garvey did.
Yeah.
So when he was telling me about Fard, I'm looking to meet Marcus Garvey. You bring me a final call with a picture of Fard Muhammad in there. Man, my chin hit the floor. He ain't even black. That's the first thing I thought. So I'm looking at the picture. And I hear something say, I know what you're thinking. Right? But I'm trying to examine this picture. I'm like, make this shit make sense to me, because this ain't making no sense. Right? Because the original man is the original man. This is what I'm looking for. Right? Po niggas, nappy hair, and big lips. So when I see Fard, I'm not buying it. So I'm sitting there, I was doing my meditation, and I wasn't even thinking about that shit no more.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went into this trance, I started walking down this tunnel, and it was going like in a spiral down. Mm-hmm. And on the side, it looked like somebody had set up a little cutout in the side of the tunnel and put a booth there.
Mm.
And as I walked up, it was Fard Muhammad sitting in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first code that I picked up. I'm gonna tell you what it means when I get done telling you what he said.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Come here and sit down." He said, it doesn't work the way you think it worked,
mm-hmm.
but you'll figure that out later.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him about being wrinkled up and old looking, because he posted my age.
Mm-hmm.
He said I could have extended my age. Right? This the code. He said, but I started eating 3 meals a day to hasten my death so that I can return back.
Mm.
Right? So he was going back to source as an energy. The code was, and the last thing they would be greedy. And this would be cause the aging and the death of a people. Greed.
Mm.
The greed is going to come from a place of apathy. The victim position. All of the people in the history of the world that have been in slavery, and they talking about reparations, when they can just do for self now because we can do for self now. In the past, you can't hold them accountable because the condition was different. So we did all this fighting to get this far to say, well, we ain't gonna do nothing else because we want reparations. Reparations is a trick. It's a blatant deception to draw the ones that's hereditary to the earth in parts. This is the land of Tahuti. The ones who are the first family of Tahuti is heirs to this land. Right? So if you want to think you from the land of Enki, go ahead. We got relatives over there. We not mad at them people. Right? But we still have to know where we from in order to assert our birthright, in order to restore balance to the land.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go with the scholarly narrative that disassociates you from your birthright. Then you forfeit your birthright under the imbecile clause. Mm-hmm. This is how the Catholic Church had us all hostage. By declaring us all imbeciles in law. That's why we end up 3/5 compromise, Dred Scott Negroes.
Right. Let me ask you this before we get out of here, right? I seen the question I want to ask. Yeah, man, the chat is moving out of. Oh man, I don't know. And I don't forgot what it was. All right. Oh, real quick before we get to that, somebody asked earlier about your Cash App. Let me put it on the screen real quick before I forget. It's SikApe, right, Rod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$, capital S, AK, capital APE. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I just put the brother Rod's Cash App for those who want to contribute. I'm also going to put mine at the bottom of the screen for anybody who wants to contribute to the platform. And my brother Rod Hayes.
Hey, look, I be had to remind people that's watching that y'all do that Cash App because it's courtesy and practice. And then if y'all send something, I gotta receive it out of gratitude. But man, if I didn't never get a dime, I ain't in this for no money. If I didn't never get a dime, I'm still gonna tell these people what they don't want them to know about us reclaiming what's ours just because it's right. And it's not enough money that can pay for that to me.
Indeed.
Therefore, it's worthless. I gotta tell it. I can't keep it and conceal it because I could have wrote scholarly thesis on this stuff with the references and all of that. And nobody would have never had to see my face. Right? But the whole mission was described in a blueprint in the Great Osirian Resurrection. Following the blueprint, you able to recover using the Osirian, what's called the grandfather clause. That's who Santa Claus is. Right? That's the great clause, the grandfather clause. A time in law when the law of the land was the supreme law of the land. That's the Iroquois Constitution. That's the oral Constitution that we knew it by heart. By the time we was elders in the community, it was written in the soul. You can't take that away from us. This is how we always rise back to the permanence, no matter what happened on this land. Anything can come. We welcome every challenge. But just know when it's time for the games to end, the games have to end. This is where we at. If you go back and listen to me and Taj, he flat out tell you I'm the closer. I came to close the books on this BS. Judge motherfucking Dredd. Right? So the ones who don't understand the receipts, go back and check what I'm telling you. If I'm telling everybody the 100, there can't no money pay for that. Right? So you got all these hustlers mad because I'm spoiling their rotten games. By telling people the truth, they can see through the BS now. They know that this nigga just hustling for money, talking that trash. You know, so they want to use my name to build up their credit. They want to use Brother Rich name, but they want to tear us down, but they using our name to get views and likes. Why they tearing us down?
Clout chasing.
Yeah, but we ain't thinking about the people though. That's the crazy part. Like they not even on my radar. Man, look, a fly more likely to slap flies off his ass. They don't mean nothing to me. Right? So, them little annoyances, mama told me a long time ago. If I ain't had no opposition, I was doing something wrong. So, they come from whatever rock they under, I'm with it.
I hear you, my brother. We know that, man. We appreciate the genuine energy in you, my brother.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this one last one before we get out of here, Rod. They want to know your thoughts on deja vu. What's your thoughts on deja vu, my brother? That'll be the last one.
So it can be 6 different lifetimes. There's pins on the lifetimes that let you know that you're on the right path. Sometimes the experience is called a deja vu when it's like, I done this before. You did. You just did it slightly different in the past life. You wanted to try it in multiple different ways, and the deja vu sensation just lets you understand you were successful. Now you didn't experience all of the angles. That's why it's so familiar, because you didn't done it so many times.
So that's like a way for us to know that we successful at something when we get that deja vu feeling.
Well, it knows that there's an experience in your book of life that you repeated for whatever purpose you put it in there.
Right.
Only by you understanding how you think will you know why you would do that. Like, why would I put that in there? Why would I put this in my book of life to get kicked down the flight of stairs? Right? It's in there. Everybody's book of life is already written. They wrote it before they came. Now they trying to remember the path without knowing what they wrote.
Yo, Rod, real quick, let me share a personal experience with you. How I be getting that feeling sometime. If I'm in the car driving, Rod, and like, you know how like you in a car and the police sirens coming and they they want you to move over, and they got to go a certain way in the traffic. In my mind, I'd be like, oh, they doing that shit wrong. All they got to do is go over there. Then this person will move here. Like, I feel like I know how to direct the police. So when they move it, I'm like, these niggas is idiots. I'm like, they should go here, because if they go here, this car's going to move here. Then they got it straight away. They could go straight, and then they could just get the fuck, you know what I'm saying? I stay doing that when I'm on the road. I'd be like, yo, I could direct these motherfuckers, man. They don't be doing what they do. That shit stay in my mind, right?
I think you probably can. Won't you direct their ass off the land? That's what you direct them to. Look, we ain't need police. We ain't need police before settlers came.
Yeah.
We didn't need no prisons before settlers came. Why we need that shit now? There's something going on that they're not telling you. Mm. If you get into trouble with the law and they want to bring you in, what do they do? What they issue? Mm-hmm. What they issue, Rich? If they want you, they finna get a police. Yeah, break the word in half.
War, ant.
Rent.
War rant. Yeah.
What's a rant? It's an ongoing declaration. What's the first part?
War.
It's just an ongoing declaration of war.
War.
Every one of us are victims to the war march of the colonizers. We can't go to war with them because they got us outgunned. The only thing we can do is exercise superior blood rights to them by using our system to oust their system. Everybody want to use their system to fight their system and wonder why they're not being successful. What you marching for? You don't have no stake in the claim. They claiming your shit, and you marching to be a part of their claim to your shit. No. We not marching. We gonna wake the people up in waves. By the time they understand who Rod Hayes is, this shit gonna be cooked. This duck gonna be cooked, well done, and fricasseed.
Fricasseed, okay. I hear that, my brother. Well, listen, man, I want to thank you, my brother Rod, once again, man. You was in the zone tonight, man. You got something good there. What you smoking on, man? You got something good, man, because you was on you was on one tonight, Rod. I hear you, man. Hey, listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We got about 4,000 people in the chat. Thanks for tuning in here, my brother Rod. Once again, he will be on my Patreon. His video will go up Friday. So if you're interested in that one, go and check it out on the Patreon. Other than that, Rod, once again, my brother, thank you so much, man. Keep up doing what you're doing, man. You're so needed at this day and time, my brother. Anything else you want to leave the people with before we get out of here?
I ain't finna be doing this shit much longer.
Yeah.
This shit got to come to an end. Mm-hmm. Right? It's the reason I'm out here. Mm-hmm. And for the ones who understand, what did the other cultures say about the Milky Way galaxy?
The Hindus, since we're in the Hindu culture right now, what did the Hindus say about the Milky Way galaxy?
Well, it's one of the newer galaxies in the collection. Right? So it's coming on a different frequency, and it was an isolated part of the creation where they just now in galactic time is fairly new. The Big Bang was just turning on the hologram. That's right. Yes. So now we get messages from 30 million years ago. Somebody know how to send us a message into the future from 30 million years ago. We talked about that before. Right? So if they know how to send us a message into the future, they know that at some point in the future, we're going to be advanced as they were in the past. Right? And the greatest advancement is to activate the Tesla coil-like dynamic of the women and their connection to the earth. Because we're talking about bringing heaven to earth again. We're talking about expelling the components of hell from earth. Right? So we in layman's terms or in commoners terms, we talking about bringing the golden age out of a dark age, out of the chapter of misery, going to the payout of the misery into the chapter of joy. That means all the pauper guys get up now.
Oh shit.
Right. You see winos at an alarming rate. Stop drinking wine. Crackheads stop smoking crack. Heroin addicts stop using heroin. You're like, what the hell going on? Right? It's because the pauper guys that was using those substances to keep them at the bottom, they finna get their inheritance, and then like, fuck it, let's go get paid. We can get another kind of high now. It's called traveling the world to see the different sights.
Right.
Pick up the love energy everywhere we go. Right? Because people are going to recognize that the pauper guys took the suffering so that the rest of them ain't have to, and then they're going to show gratitude. It's called pre-karma and the cashing in of the pre-karma.
Oh, speaking of showing gratitude, Rod, this sister here sent a super chat and she wanted to know let me just put this up here real quick before I forget. $SikApe. Yeah, shout out to Kata Leia's World. I appreciate the super chat. You asked for the brother. We Cash App. Let me just put this on the screen while the brother talk. For those who want to support the brother, and a couple of y'all asked about the brother's Cash App. Show love to the brother Rod Hayes with this groundbreaking information. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So the women make a grid around the planet. They forgot because the warring patriarchs removed the priestesses from their thrones, and they replaced them with this homosexual pedophile cult. Right? They run around dressed in drag, call themselves priests. Nobody's never noticed that all of them wearing dresses. What priesthood don't wear dresses? Indigenous priests. The shamans don't wear dresses. They might wear a loincloth made out of grass. They might make one made out of leather, right? They might have buckskin slacks on and a buckskin jacket, but they don't wear dresses. Right. Because they know that the priestesses were sacred to the earth, and for them to be re-alerted to their power is to tie them back into the earth. And you got the symbol right there.
Yeah.
You see the triple knot in the Heka?
Yeah.
Right? Those hands, those upright hands is the symbol for Heka. Heka is an ancient subset of the temple magic of Kemet, which came from over here. A lot of people think that Egypt was the university. That was Hollywood. The university was in Arizona, in the Grand Canyon, at the original temple of Isis. This is why they finding Egyptian artifacts and Buddhist artifacts over there. This shit ain't nothing new. This is just another cycle. Right? So if we gonna ever break and snap free from the imprisoned mind program, the miseducation of the Negro, all we have to do is remember when the energy shift, we would like for our women to be in the energy of gratitude. That's it. Because they gonna be the first ones to receive the source code. So when they get your semen to make your next son, they gonna scan your DNA, and then they gonna patch in what need to be fixed for the future to make your son better than you was. Right? That's their job. That's what women do when they gestate. They matching up genetics. They choosing traits.
Right.
But because nobody's telling them what they doing, right? They don't know that when they nose swell up, they taking skin particles out of the air, reconstructing the physical body of a baby in their uterus. They don't know that because they were purposely denied the knowledge of self. This is why Elijah Muhammad was so adamant about getting knowledge of self. Knowledge of self ain't just talking about We came on no goddamn slave ship, was in slavery, and now we trying to find a way. And that's not knowledge of self. Knowledge of self is how your body works. How do your mind work? Do you know how you think that will help you learn better? That's all knowledge of self. Right? How do the outside world apply to what you experience in your internal world? Right? Because it's as above, so below, as within, so without. If you know what ails you, you know what ails the world. If you can figure out how to fix it in you, you can figure out how to solve the problem in the world. That's all it is, a game of problem solving.
Right.
Right? So when we start teaching our children, they took critical thinking and practical problem solving out of the curriculum. It was hardwired in the curriculum of our training and educational programming. Right? Critical thinking and practical problem solving is one of the first things that you impress upon a child in order for them to bring their internal greatness out, their genius within. That brilliance that the school system is stifling can be overrode by an adult who's aware that the child got a greater light within him. All he got to do is give him the rules to the game, and he can handle it from there.
Right, right,
right. And that critical thinking and practical problem solving used to be K through. It used to be in all of our curriculum. Mm-hmm. Yep, the pretermer. That's what's when the pauper guys take on the suffering. That's when they say the first should be last and the last shall be first. Mm-hmm. Right. You have to be last at the close of the age because you got to be first at the opening of the new age, the ancient ones.
Right.
Right. And you have to be properly compensated according to the law of compensation. Mm-hmm. If you're not properly compensated, then you can't properly perform your function. Mm-hmm. And this is what causes the rapid decay of a society like America. The inflation undermine what a person rightfully deserved for their work, for their labor. Because of that, it caused the industrial America to begin to decay. So corporate America have to try to bandage and patch it by downsizing and coming up with new ways to get the work done because they're not properly compensating the people.
Right.
Right. So they need to be of service. But they need to be of service to the workers that produce the products for them first in order to be effectively a service to the collective of the people. This is why we unionize. Mm-hmm. Right? This all goes to the cycles within cycles.
Right.
Right? And a good researcher on the Indian historical record is Michael Cremo, who wrote in Forbidden Knowledge. That's a good reference for people to look at to understand. None of this stuff is new. There's nothing new under the sun. We do this every time. We got to close out the old age in order to bring in a new age. And the responsibility falls on the ancient ones to come back at the close of the age, figure out what the younger guys did, and fix that shit. That's it. And the more you fix, the more people can be fixed.
Right. Right.
Right. And this is why they say self-sacrifice was the highest form of sacrifice, because what you do to the self-sacrifices you make to make yourself better end up benefit more people than just you.
Yeah.
And the more people you benefit, the greater your value is in the spiritual arena. It has nothing to do with where you born at. It's just that you born where you supposed to be according to the alignment of the stars and the time of day. They look at your birth certificate or your birth manifest, and they know where every chief is born at. That's how the COINTELPRO was being able to be an operative and functional tool to oppress the people of the land. It couldn't work no other way if they didn't know where we were going to surface.
How do they find out who the chief is from the birth certificate? What is it on the birth certificate?
They looking at the time of day, the ley line you was born on, and which star is magnetically polarized to that ley line. Every metropolis is on an energy center. Everyone on Earth. There's in some of the energy centers, the metropolises have faded out with time. But you still have the remnant present.
Right.
To show you that we in cycles. So now they can look at which star is affecting or is being affected by the longitude, latitude, and triangulate. A chief's going to be born on this day according to the alignment of the stars. Remember when they talked the story of the three wise men?
Yeah.
They knew that a king was born how? Because it was in the stars. Right? So the Pleiadian belt represents the three kings or the three wise men. Right? But under the original priesthood, it represented the three sisters. Right? And the three sisters operate on a game called Four Corner Shuffle. The Four Corner Shuffle is the 4X chromosomes. And the 4 and the 3 is the bands of the Pleiades, which is the seven sister seal. Right? So when the child is being blessed, he got to be blessed by seven sisters. They don't have to be blood sisters. They just have to have a blood tied to the land. Seven matriarchs. Right? So the three sisters flip you to the seven sisters on a four corner shuffle in the family dynamic in order to reset the royal family. In order to bring the ancient ones back to the forefront, there's a mathematical formula. Right? And it's through these formulas that we return the sequence of genetics in its alignment to the energy of the ancient one that was here before. But it's all cycles within cycles, layers on layers.
Hey, Rod, what happens to Enlil during the Golden Age?
Enlil is going to be they're going to do him bad. Apparently, they're going to let him decay. That means they're going to lock him into a human body that once he decay, he fade away. He don't exist no more. It's a ruthless form of punishment for the most worst of the eternal ones to turn them mortal. In their mortality, they can't restructure the spiritual matrix. That is like an energy. I don't even read them. I don't even read them like people. When I say Enlil, I'm talking about a frequency.
Frequency, right.
When I say Inky, I'm talking about a masculine earth frequency. Inky